Of course, we are at the one and only. It is Koma, Banna, and it is season 3. And right now we are speaking with the. Do we call you a program director or the master of ceremony?
Yeah, it's both actually. It's actually both. I like calling. I like spelling it out as I introduce myself all the time. I'm a program director, a master of ceremonies. Of course, I am now a captain of this ship.
Yeah.
I'm propelling it and all of that. So you get a picture. It is one and the same time, the same thing in a way.
Yeah.
It can be used interchangeably.
Upon other things that I like is that of recent, when I look into your TikTok, video, you are pushing the Africanism as a whole. And at times when I hear you saying Senatla, Papo,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
busy saying that what a reta munda
Yes. I'm glad you're asking that question because people think that maybe it's just Khotiteta. No.
Yeah.
For starters, the Patia Senatla, Kilibicho is one of my African names.
Okay.
Indeed. But also just to have a twist to the way we all present our stories, we present them differently. My story is coming with Badimbag Tamalibona. So, Hakisipulekili knows. Kina Senatla Sabatuma EJ. Therefore, Senatla Sagapap. It comes from that. But it also just a creative twist to just being Macks Papo or Macks or Senatla Papo. For me, it shot us something. It as a a spiritual healer that I now am. I get some I'm not alone. I carry all those many grandmothers and grandfathers that are with me. Literally translated, Baba Tamayango Linna. And that is why there's also the question, you talking about African and Africanity and spirituality. Let me bring in the spirituality into it. When you say Saubon, if you think about it in Sisu, why Saubon? And they're talking to one singular person. It's because that person they are people. Therefore, I see you and not just you. You in relation to your people and with your people. Saubon.
You see us.
Dame, Dumela. Think about it. I should be say Dumela because you are one. But where I come from, I'm not alone. At all times, even here, when I appease them to say, look, I know what I'm doing, but guide me because here I am dealing with spirits and souls.
Hey, very, very interesting. And I think that is also another thing that I would like us maybe later on to have this conversation of just spirituality, how that gets to build and mold a man. But upon other things, you attend many gatherings.
Yes.
You attend. You are a master of ceremony to not just men but youth, kids, and all that. I've seen you
absolutely.
a number of times doing
Yes.
kids activities, and I personally saw you into some of the activities. But what is the pattern here that is making men fail? Because there must be something that you are saying that you have discovered that
Yes.
as men, this is a common thing that man. I went to Mamelodi.
Yes.
I went to Harangua. I went to Soundton.
Yes.
There's this problem. What
Correct.
is that pattern that you see that keeps repeating itself?
The pattern is a fear of what they are going to say about what it is that I'm doing or I am not doing or that I have or I do not have. Abantu bazawuthini, batlawureng. And therefore, I'm finding that is not just a men's issue and a men's problem, but men are finding that a bigger challenge because they are constantly compared, they are constantly criticized. Even many times when they're even doing their best, they are not acknowledged enough. And that's why I spoke about it there. Because sometimes, and I said thank you to that only one lady that was in attendance.
Yes.
Please, if you can do something for us, if there's one favor that you can do for us, please go tell other sisters, other mothers, and your lady or female colleagues, Banna try, Banna balla, and they're saying even the best that they can do is not acknowledged. What I'm finding as a pattern is that Banna are constantly under pressure to compete. They're in competition with the sizes or about the sizes. I said it earlier on, and I'm gonna repeat it. The sizes of their bank balances and their automobiles. I appreciate. I deliberately call it automobiles, because it's the size of your car, and I'm saying the different kinds of cars as I call them automobiles. Correct. What size of the car? What is your car size? What are you driving a small engine, a Toyota or a Twin? And a guy will then go, or a man will then go out of their way, their affordable way.
Can I also say one thing?
To go and try and match up and level up with the one who has the bigger car.
Because ever since I've known you, I knew through two cars.
Yes.
There was a particular green car that you were driving. And I can tell you, I saw Marothi Maphuthuma saying that, "Ke khopela push." You get my point?
Yeah.
Because that does not mean, if you talk a push, car moves, fine.
I like the fact that you're talking about the push. Now I will take that beyond. I use that metaphor of pushing. What is wrong? What's a shame? Where is there shame in you asking for help or asking for assistance where you are running short of reaching that one point where you could actually, with that little bit of a push, I'm using that deliberately to say that little extra assistance that we all men do need. Sometimes we need it even from our wives, but we think because a man cannot be going to the wife, Musadi could be that very push that you needed. I'm turning that into a metaphor now. That if one time I've run out of gas, am I going to be stuck there and then actually be even later than late? To get to that point, which could have actually changed my life instantly. That very important audition, that very important interview that I could have, if only I asked you with no shame to give me a push, that gasoline. Yes, to get there. People are ashamed of asking. Banna, men, let's confine ourselves to men. Men find it difficult to ask for help because it's like I'm a failure. I'd rather than be asking for the basics. But there are things and that if only we just kind of, just kill this fear to open up about, to say, there's a problem at my house or in my household. My wife is actually clapping me around. My wife is actually belittling me in front of my children. I'm finding myself all the time crying, but I cannot be going and telling other men that I'm actually being beaten up or maybe clapped around by my wife, because they'll laugh at me. They'll laugh in my face. Fear of the unknown as to how other men are going to receive that confession. Even the police. People go to the police stations, certain police stations, and be laughed at, or how can you bring a case like that? Why?
Can I ask, maybe also to follow up that pattern? There's two questions that I want to ask. Men often get to wear masks, especially when things are not going well. Perhaps to enlighten us so that maybe we get to help the other men around. What are some of the masks that become common? Like saying, you wear a particular mask, and now you have pride.
Correct.
You can't ask for help when you are supposed to ask for help. And also another thing has to be is a vulnerability, especially for men. And today we were hearing that is vulnerability really saying that it's opening a space for a man to heal, to find himself, reposition himself, or vulnerability of a man, is it really the way it has been described that if you find you have being vulnerable, then we paint you as a weak man?
As a weak man. As opposed to, or contrary to popular belief, that men ought not to be vulnerable. I say vulnerability is actually key to unlocking. Is the key to unlocking some of the bottled up, suppressed emotions of really those emotions that can really lead to even depression. A lot of men that are sitting with a lot of those issues bottled up inside. All that they ever actually need to do is just to be exactly that, vulnerable. But a lot of men don't know how to be vulnerable. Perhaps we need education in that area. We also need leadership. That we should see models, like role models, men that can actually participate in such forums as this one and say, do you know, my story is as follows. Before you could see me riding the crest and the ladder of success as I am doing today, I've been through this and that and that. Perhaps that can give other men courage to say, it is actually okay. It's actually cool to open up, cry, and cry about it without any fear that I'll be deemed as weak. I want to demystify the whole thing right now, today, that has killed us over centuries, actually, over many years. In my case, I'll say decades and decades of my existence. I've heard that until I liberated myself from all of that belief system. And that's been a while ago. Like being just a member or a member of a certain group, that you feel that you need to be belonging or be seen to belong to such and such a groupie, and easily then, of course, reducing yourself to a groupie. It was 2003 when I decided enough of membership of anything, even being a member of some kind of an institution. It is about ownership. And ownership starts with yourself. You owning your life. You owning your story. Reclaiming your story. Grab hold of that story and be the one to tell it. Because if you allow other people to make decisions about your story and define it the way they define it and make you believe that, they're going to distort your story. Everybody has got a story. I've been saying that this day repeatedly, that there is no such thing as a simple or a stupid story. It is a story nonetheless, and it is your story. You go out there and tell it to the world.
Upon other things that are also happening, but
don't worry, let's do our thing and finish it in your own time.
Upon other things, and we already pinpointed one. What advice do men receive that harm them? And I'm asking this, that you have lived longer than me.
Yes, of course.
You've had advice more than me.
Yes.
And I believe very well that whatever advice you have had, you know very well that I became this person because of this advice.
Of course.
And this advice keeps harming men. One of those which I've already said,
I've lived through a lot of my own advice.
Yeah.
I'm at a point where I'm executing my own advice. In other words, it is like, don't all be going out there and preaching a gospel that you yourself cannot execute on self. I may not, I dare not. Otherwise, it is all a lie or pretentious of me to go out there and be telling, this is how you should be doing it, how am I doing, how have I been doing it? So that whole notion of thing, for me, is a rubbish that I will call exactly reduced to what it is. It has been something that has really killed us as men. I know it is associated with culture, some of those cultural idioms and that. It's an idiom that has been, for me, very destructive. It is something that we need to not only just undo, but destroy in the process of us beginning to, in a small way, in a humble way, to talk in small numbers. This at least is a platform that's collective. A lot of people hid themselves behind other members or audience members, if you like, from where I come from. I'll call them the audience. But there's a lot of people, if we were in smaller groups, would have opened up and coughed up. But at least what we are hoping this would have done is to give them encouragement or courage to go out there and start opening up, even if it means to your next door neighbor friend. Because this is where it's going to start, and doing this whole evil system that has really destroyed us in the process. So let's go out there and even be able to tell our wives that this month is going to be bad. We are it's not a boom month or a boom year. This we're gonna have to, men have to allow themselves to downsize lifestyle, eating patterns, even, or the whole thing of going out to restaurants and everything. If it means now go high and manage our groceries realistically in accordance to the size of our budget. And I'm glad that we covered a lot of the elements of our whole thing called Koma, life yaron. The financial, the spiritual, the social, the cultural, the personal, the financial, the professional.
And on top of that,
the spiritual.
The family, which is the main core as well.
Absolutely.
Identity.
But all that, family, your family is financial, it's spiritual, culture and all of that. But it is also professional in that if Musada at least a bacon, come high. You know, what is my contribution? If Masadi is bringing more bacon than me, should it be a problem? Maybe we can then go back to culture and say, Mamawak, my wife, the thing is, we are pretentious. That's another problem. We want to pretend that things are not as they are. We want to present them to look like they are or appear as though like we are succeeding or anything. I am busy trying to compete with the Joneses of the Houghtons and the Santons. And I want to bring that here, Conan Mepias and Mamelodi. No. Half of the time, the Nelmepias neighborhood does not care what you're doing. Even though, the thing is to go back and reset the button here, self-actualization, self-awareness, and self-knowledge. Who are you, essentially, authentically, and originally? If people can take that trip back to their genesis and genealogy and who they are, perhaps they can understand, or in fact they are richer than what they've been thinking. Because what other people's opinions are about me does not define who I am. Men ought to actually go back to that very, very basic, that fundamental. So Banna, my encouragement, let's stop these things. Society, the girlfriends, and all those kinds of things. Those things are just setting us back and back and back. And because the pressures are actually bred in there. They are actually red. Where we are getting together just to have a drink and to eat meat and then boast about what my latest conquests are. Most of the time, the Jonases of this world. We'll be discussing that.
We'll be discussing Jonas
and breeding that. Guys, we can do better than that. Because we can allow ourselves to also go and relearn and unlearn. Because the patterns, you were talking about patterns earlier on. The patterns have to be reviewed, reshaped, reset, regenerated, and perhaps in the end we can hopefully recalibrate our ways. Sure. Yeah, the music is loud.
It's too loud, and I'm trying to make sure that they try to reduce it.
Yes.
But I want us to, the very important lesson also that I've learned from you was when I was attending one of the career days.
Yes.
And you said, this is my story.
Oh, you used to attend those?
I was attending as a stakeholder. But
yes.
I heard you speak.
You remember
with me.
that was the year 2018 to 2018 and 19.
Yes.
I think 18 and 19. Those 2 years. It was continuous.
You like
we were working with Tita. You remember
yes.
that Tita had transport and education.
Yes.
I was working incidentally with that brother Tosca.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm sure you know Tosca.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
So, upon other thing, I want you to speak to a black child to tell them that it's all right to live in your story.
Yes.
I'm saying this because you've been to the end of the world.
Yes.
Because of your story.
Yes, sir.
And you believed in your story.
Absolutely.
You did not try to rewrite your story in a different way.
Yes.
But you rewrote your story.
To fit in.
Your own story.
Yes.
Take us through that one.
I'm very glad that you are emphasizing this whole notion of one story. And as I will begin, I'll say everybody has a story. You have a story, I have a story, they have a story, she has a story, he has a story, we all have a story. And it is our story to own. At all costs, keep it as authentic, original, honest as possible.
Yeah.
Because it is that story that with time going, in the future, somebody, depending on how powerfully you present that story out there to the world, that they're going to be lining up to buy it. So therefore that story goes beyond just being a story of history, where you come from, your back canvas. It is your book. It is your life story. It is your journey. How you are going to be telling it and sticking to it, sticking to your guns, sticking to your story. Eventually somebody is going to buy into it and be able and willing to pay dollars,
not rands,
to pay euros, to pay pounds, international currencies for your story.
Yeah.
Because you kept true to it. You stayed true to your story.
You
can be a story that comes from the dusty streets of Mamelodi.
Yes.
And you go tell it to the world, and I have. And literally, the world, I've traveled the world over.
And
all the cardinal parts of the world, the east, the west, the south, I've been to, and I stuck to my story. An African indigenous, authentic, original story.
And I remember very well you said that it starts with the truth.
It starts with the truth, man. You got to be truthful to it. You got to stay true to it. But you got to be committed to it. Because if you're going to be flaky and be influenced by the many parts of the world that you travel and find yourself, and all of a sudden you want to drop your story and pick up their story. They know their story better than you. You could never even begin to imagine telling it. But your story, no one can tell better than you. That has been my secret of success. And success is very relative. How you define it and how I define and see it. In what quantities? Enough for you is not enough for me, and vice versa. But if you stay true to your story and believe in it, we all have our journeys, and we are going to travel our journeys and get to the same destination point. Eventually, we are all going to die. But what will you have done with the journey and the opportunity, the gift of life that has been gifted to you all the years, the many years that you will have lived up till? So, black child, stay true to your story. Yours is a powerful African, original, authentic story. But you need to do, if you have for 1 minute been confused as to who you are, it's never too late to go back to the basics and the fundamentals and restart that button. Reshape that story, recalibrate it. I use that word deliberately because recalibration begins to now put all the elements of refreshing, restarting, regenerating, rebuilding. And go tell that story. It's never too late. Maybe it was time that you were given to get to this point where you said, no man, I think I've been going about it the wrong way. So never give up. Life for some people can start at 50 and be the most fulfilling life ever. And more than the 40 years that you'll have lived. Not actually knowing exactly who you were or are about. Wondering as to what it is that this life has in store for you. But when you know who you are, you have a better chance and a clearer vision as to where you want to go. Don't you dare regret the past, the history, because that is history. It is exactly the past. All that you can do with your past is the lessons learned. Carry them into your present, because that's all you have. Your present, your now. You seize the moment and commit with all absolute honesty and humility to your now.
To your now.
Because do not even begin to think about telling me about the future or tomorrow. It is a mystery. You don't know, and it's never guaranteed. So don't you be sitting here and wallowing about the past that never happened, never was fair to you, never was nice to you. Once you are gifted still, the now, the present. I'm speaking as a motivational speaker now. Just put on that hat.
Yeah.
All you have is now, the present. That's all. You make the most of it in order to determine the kind of future, the kind of tomorrow that you might have.
Yeah.
And that determines your next. Let that be your not your preoccupation, but let it be somewhere in your mind about what is it that I'm doing now for. It's always for the ladies. It's always for our generations to come. It is always. So it is about reshaping and shaping our legacies. What is it that you're going to leave here?
Yeah.
This world with? And for whom, of course. I'm sure you're a father. I'm a father. So most of all, what gives us fulfillment is that we leave something for our children and our grandchildren to remember us by or with.
Yeah.
So black man, don't you dare undermine the space and the place, the face you're finding yourself in right now. Stay in that lane, but don't you be stuck. And if you have to take time out to go and recalibrate, by all means do that.
Yeah.
And solitude is a nice place to visit, just not nice to stay in. Don't stay in solitude, but revisit it and go find yourself again.
Sure.
It's fine. It's not philosophical. It's actually spiritual. It's needed. And Koma, I think if there's anything, a lot of people touched on that, even though they might not have put it in the way that I have. But a lot of them have, the speakers, the profound speakers that we had here, touched base with those elements.
Yes.
All of them.
All of them.
The spiritual, the physical, the mental, if not psychological, the financial, the social, the cultural, the personal, the professional. Let men go and find those elements again. And if they have to unlearn, let them do so.
And it's okay, black men, to unlearn.
It's okay, black men, to go and unlearn and drop the habits, the old habits. And you know, if culture has been your captivator, it's okay to actually unleash yourself from the shackles and the chains of culture, because sometimes it can really capture you and imprison you with belief systems.
Yes.
Culture, I believe, African or not, ought to be dynamic, cannot stand in one place. Because then again, if we have to be wise about culture, if you think about the metaphor of Lino, or the symbol of Lino, an eagle.
Yes.
An eagle doesn't stay in one place, like a chicken, and if fata mo plucking a one. It doesn't. An eagle will be flying above all else and finding targets and the places where it can even help rescuing those little animals. I want to go TikTok the other time. An eagle came. There was a little sheep. It was stuck between. I think this was AI manufactured though, but there was brilliant wisdom about that TikTok video clip. So there's a river here, and in this river are crocodiles, like 5 of them. And then above, just this liriba, lanuka. There's a bit of space in between where it's like a level ground.
Yeah.
And there are 3 lions. And the sheep is finding herself, the little lamb Shem, in between the 3 lions and the 5 crocodiles smaller. And of course, the poor sheep is stuck. And then watch it's that road is slippery. I mean that little space, that little piece of land, ground, more in between is slippery. As if by miracle, and then flew into that situation, the eagle. And what does the eagle do? It grabs the sheep and flies over the both crocodiles and the lions. And they're all trying to reach, but no, the eagle is doing better than that, flying over and then rescuing that. So sometimes we need to think like an eagle, and we might just find solutions to move ourselves, even if it's just moving a needle away from our spaces, because they're more all stuck in one place, hoping and hoping, but utilizing the same ways, hoping for different results. It's a sign of madness, if not insanity.
Yeah.
We ought to change our ways. Men, we ought to change our ways of communication. We need to go restart that button of how we open ourselves up to even being vulnerable to the world out there.
Yes.
I'm taking it beyond your families.
Yes.
Not just your wives and your children. I mean, Banna cannot even begin anymore. Because they don't know, they've lost themselves.
Yeah.
So they are now beginning to gaslight themselves, to second guess themselves. They have lost in the process self-esteem, their manhood, literally.
Yeah. Quite interesting.
So we need to go back to the fundamentals.
I want us to do a 1 minute 30-second scene.
Yes.
So the scene is of a young man who grew up without a father.
Yes, sir.
He never knew who he was. He had to rely on the likes of people to tell him who he is, what he is. I want you to just get to that scene, because I want us to just compromise here and act out this one. I want to become that son, and I want you to become the malume that has never been there, crying, saying that, my son, I see you have the potential, but you don't know who you are, and you don't even know where you are going, because you don't even know where you are coming from.
Yeah, we're gonna have to role play here. So you be my let's jump into it. I'll be the uncle.
Yes, sir.
You be Mchana.
Yes, sir.
Okay, shoot.
Why, malume? Why ungiyeka? Uyazi ubaba akekho. But you are the one who is always making sure that you tell abantu ukuthi I'm going to be like my father. What can I be? Who I don't know.
Mchana, inkinga iwani. You are busy comparing yourself to your father. You are busy comparing yourself to my brother. Forgetting the one thing, Fanam, when your father has done his bit. Okay, let alone the role, the constructive role, and the role as a father that he ought to have played and been playing now, raising you. There's one thing that you are losing sight of. This is your life. I mean, let's look at your age for starters. I'm not taking one side, 1 minute. I'm not taking side, my brother. But I'm saying you are losing sight of the fact that at least you've been gifted the gift of life. And this is your life.
Maramalume, the only thing I know of him was him hitting people, trying to murder someone.
But then it is your duty now, Fanam. That whole thing is a cycle. He was part of that cycle. It didn't start now. If I were to tell you stories about where we come, how we used to be clapped, how we used to be basically murdered by everybody back there, starting with our grandfather.
Yeah,
I know.
Not today.
No. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that I'm permitting or maybe I'm condoning what my brother has been doing and has done to you. Look at you now, the results of his actions, beating you, thinking that you're shaper. Now you are rebellious. You're not only rebellious, you are angry. You are an angry young man. But I'm saying, and I'm challenging you, Konamanje. Perhaps it's about time you be selfish and think about number one. And number one is you. If you have to say stuff, I don't have my father, even though you know you have him, but maybe reduce him to a nothingness that he has been in your life. Perhaps sit down and think about how gifted you can be if you just sit down and find yourself with ngubani. Once you answer that, you are A-way mfanam.
Maswonge, ladies and gentlemen, this man, if you see him manyana, just know that is the very sweetest man ever. Let's go na Marothi la na the yellow bone.
Jonas.
Rachel, kunutu.
Or the yellow bone ya go Skeem song. Rachel. Yes,
thank you very much for giving us your time just this day, and we're wishing to have more conversation like this, because we know for sure that men need to have this, and these are some of the things that get to make us to identify who we are.
We need more of this. Well, you were talking about Skeem Saam and everything, and talk about Rachel and Marothi. It'd be interesting for the people to know, and I think they'll be very happy to know that Marothi nor Rachel are back, and in no time you should be seeing them back on your screens.
Yeah.
And Marothi will be Marothi again.
You don't understand the beans?
I'm not. You know that I am nothing like that man. You've said it. You've told your people, Uguti is the sweetest man. Thank you for seeing that. Because some people might not see that.
Hey, and I'm pretty sure Honelo Mungoka Lenya how Rachel something
correct. That's so true.
Yeah.
I guess it's the believability maybe that we carry, we bring into our roles.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jonasi right now. You know, that Jonasi is like trending like there's no tomorrow, because he played that role, and I congratulate him. He played that role so powerfully, so convincingly. He imbibed that whole spirit of Uchonas into his whole being.
Yes.
And that's how that's how deep you should get into a character. And congratulations to him.
Congratulations, Jonasi. Yeah, Nanoma Jonasi, hey, has caused us our Father's Day to become a problem.
Yeah.
Mara, we are not there. Ladies and gentlemen, we call
it's a contemporary problem right now. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we call it an end. We have to wrap up here. We've been here, and it has been a wonderful day. Banna. It has been season 3. Of course, we say thank you very much to, of course, the one and only. It is LCCD rather, that of course we were given the opportunity to come and work with you and get to speak with some of the people, of course, Bakamo, you are not the world of Mafias. Remember, we are nothing without you. And we know very well that you are nothing without us. We'll keep, of course, getting to bring you the relevant information where it's due, especially when we get to have.
Nda.